Well, now it's time to check in with Keith Bilbrey to see what kind of questions that you've been leaving for me in the comments, as well as in our My 2 Cents at TBN.TV mailbox. Keith, sometimes I shudder to think what you have uncovered in that mailbox, but see what's there and let me know.
Well, they go kind of easy on you this week. And from Brandon, Florida, what happens if the election audits prove President Trump actually won?
Well, nothing would happen in terms of the results of the election, even if there was an audit and there was some transparency and we found out that didn't quite go like we thought, because the results have been certified. So there's no way to undo it. That's what I think a lot of people never understood. Once an election is over, the results are certified, at that point, it's over. It's as over can get. It only would maybe show us things that we would have to correct for future elections. And, you know, I know there are people say the election was a fraud. I don't know that. I can't say it was. I certainly think there's a lot of questions, and I will continue to raise this point. Wouldn't you think that the supporters of Joe Biden and the Democrats in general would want there to be a full audit? Because they're so confident of the election results, so confident that Joe Biden got 80 million votes, 16 million more than Barack Obama ever got at the height of his popularity, more than any person ever got running for president. You would think that they would want to prove that he really was that successful. And the best way to do it is just go ahead and do an audit. And that way, everybody who doubts it would have to shut up. So we'll see if that ever happens. In the meantime, I think maybe we hope for very, very carefully audited elections.
Well, Earl from Butte Falls, Oregon, what's with the DOJ? Was it put in place to cover the crimes of Democrats?
I don't know that I would go quite that far, that it wasn't put in place for that. But I would say that there has been a politicization of the DOJ, the likes of which not only we've never seen, but is really danger for our great republic. The law has to work the same for everybody, whether a person is from the left, the right, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, in between, or none of the above. There just needs to be, as Lady Justice so beautifully depicts in that statue, blind to who is before the bar of justice. It's just simply the law being applied. I don't think most of us believe that's what's happening, and we've got to get back to that. The sooner, the better.
Well, John from Highmore, South Dakota, Trump could face Biden again in the 2024 presidential race. What do you think Trump needs to do differently to win big?
Well, now that's an easy one. He just has to get more votes than Biden. That's how this works. People used to ask me all the time when I would be on the ballot running for an office, they'd say, what do you have to do to win? I'd say, I got to get more votes than they do. That's how I do it. The truth is, I don't know whether that will be what the election comes down to in 2024. I have no idea. I don't know if President Trump will run again. I don't know if Joe Biden will be president by then, or if he will have forgotten where the White House is and will be living under a bridge somewhere in San Francisco by then. I just don't know. But if it does turn out to be that, it sure will be fun to see it all over in a rerun. That's for sure, Keith.
Well, Lauren from Hughesville, Missouri, I have some independent and center-left friends who voted for Biden because they believed he would help unify the country. Well, how do you think Biden has done so far in unifying America? Can you tell these people why they're wrong about Biden?
How much time have you got? Huh? How much time? I really wished when Joe Biden said in his inaugural address he wanted to bring people together. I wish that he was genuine and sincere. But the very day of his inauguration, he signed more than a dozen executive orders, basically to undo everything Donald Trump had done, even the things that were working beautifully, such as getting control of the border, building the wall, having some idea of who was coming forward. That's collapsed. Folks, we have a mess on our hands, and I don't have any idea whether Joe Biden knows it or not, and I'm pretty sure Kamala Harris doesn't, because even though she's so-called in charge of the border, she hasn't been down to take a look. But it's a mess. It's a total mess, and you don't have to personally go. Just listen to the people who have actually been there, including some Democrats, like Henry Cuellar, who's a Democrat congressman from Texas, who's been outspoken in saying, yes, it's a crisis and it's a total disaster. Senator Kristen Sinema of Arizona saying the same thing. This isn't about partisanship. This is about doing our job as a country and taking care of things. So Joe Biden has already proven he wants to raise taxes. And if you say, oh, well, he won't raise my taxes because I don't make $400,000 a year. Let me just explain something. I hope you get this. When you raise taxes on corporations, you are going to pay more for all the things the corporations will sell you, whether it's a loaf of bread or a gallon of gas, or whether it's a piece of lumber. That's how this works. And so you're going to pay more. The Trump tax cuts gave the average American about $4,000 a year per family, and hope you didn't need it because you're not going to have it. So there's a lot of things. And perhaps most troubling to me, because I believe that the issue of the sanctity of human life is absolutely vital and non-negotiable. President Biden has moved very, very rapidly toward taxpayer-funded abortion up until the moment of birth. He's now made it possible to reverse the Trump policy, which said that we weren't going to use any of our tax money for abortions overseas. And I'm just really troubled that we're paying for something that for many of us is morally repugnant. And so I wish there was more unity. I wish there was some semblance of it. I'm not seeing a lot of it right now. Well, be sure to leave all of your questions, your comments. You can leave any angry comments that you have. Put it right in the comments below, or you can send them to my2cents@tbn.tv.